Hi stars! We're here to explain the School Improvement and Innovation Plan. All schools in Fairfax County must have a plan each year that names goals and strategies to address school improvement. So you're about to see some data on students plus goals and plans for reading, math, and access to opportunity, which is our equity goal, and wellness.
First, let's look at some overall data. You're looking at reading SOL pass rates on this bar graph. Coates is the lighter blue compared to the division, that's FCPS as a whole, and compared to the state. This data is showing 3rd, 4th, and 5th and 6th grade all together, and this is unadjusted data, meaning it has not been adjusted with extra things that boost us, like improvement in WIDO level and things like that. This is raw pass rates, and this is pretty typical of how Coates would look compared to other schools, given our demographic of being about 50% poverty and many years about the same amount English learner. And let's compare that to this last year. We actually skipped 2019-2020 because there was no SOL that year. So we're going to last year's pandemic year, and you will see that we obviously dropped, as did everyone. Not as big a drop as I think we anticipated. Still improvement, obviously, but not so bad. Go to math. You will see Coates again in the lighter blue. We typically outperform the division and the state in mathematics, and this has been for a number of years, actually. We're really very strong on SOLs in math, but last year, significant drop everywhere, across the county, across the state, but as you can see, we no longer have our edge even compared to them. So significant need for improvement in math that we need to show on SOLs this year. And science, 5th grade science SOL tests, about half the content tested is taught in 5th grade, about the other half is taught in 4th grade. And we typically did fairly well. We've always kept out of trouble. We've been pretty close to the state average. We've even exceeded it some years. This is a few years ago. Remember, no test in 2019-2020, and last year, a significant drop for everyone, but we dropped quite a bit as well. So we'll need to address that this year. Take a look now. Let's focus on reading. This is another view of the unadjusted reading pass rates, but let's also look at the subgroup that we really focus on: Black, Hispanic, special education, and of course drops in those. And that leads us to our reading goal. School improvement plans always need to have a goal, and this is ours. It's about SOL tests. It's about subgroup improvement plus overall increases, and we want to get up at least 5 points that pass rate compared to the last year. How are we going to do it? Well, these are strategies and actions. That's part of the school plan. We are going to basically get back to pre-pandemic levels of a strong reading workshop model, consistency with the way we deliver small group instruction, both as classroom teachers and as resource teachers, and explicit instruction in test-taking strategies. And you can see the actions on the side. They don't cover every single thing we do, just highlights. And we are definitely on track, already doing many of these things, or about to do them really, really soon. Notice the second to last bullet related to classroom monitors. We are definitely training some people to deliver very specific skill, repetitive instruction for targeted kids in a number of grade levels, not just the SOL grade levels, that should help with boosting reading scores across the board.
I hope you're noticing that our plan to boost reading is not dramatic change from our pre-pandemic approach. Consistent coverage of SOLs, strong guided reading and word work, and consistent pullout from our resource teachers has always been our key to success. This year is about getting and staying tight on this.
Now let's focus in on math. Obviously, big drops there. This chart is showing the unadjusted math pass rate, again, how that dropped. as well as these subgroups. Coates has a long history of doing really well in math, and we're going to get it back this year. Take a look at this chart. This shows our 5 closest benchmarking schools in Fcps. These are the schools that have demographics that are the closest to us, so they're a good place to compare us. This is broken down by grade levels, how they did on the Math SOL test last year. Far right has the average pass rate for our benchmarking schools. And now you see how Coates did compared to that average and compared to these individual schools in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Not bad, but we're going to bring it back strong this year. Our goal on the school improvement plan is going to be all about the SOL tests, getting our overall pass rate back up to at least 70% stars. Pre-pandemic, we were always exceeding 80%, so we can do this. How are we going to do it? We're going to get back to the way we were pre-pandemic. Super strong math workshop model where we have focus lessons that are aligned with SOLs. We stay on pace. And we have great teacher-directed small group that meets kids' needs and very smart, intentional station or independent work happening also. Our resource teachers delivering consistent instruction, great work with test-taking strategies all throughout the year, and reteaching and retesting at the end of units to ensure that kids can show mastery. We don't want to have that stuff wait till a review before the SOL test. We want to address it immediately. Stars, a lot of times we focus on the retest part, the version B of the unit assessment. More important is to focus on the reteach part. The retest, you don't have to have a super long assessment like a version B of the test. That can be a pretty short ordeal. We just want to have something that serves as an opportunity for them to demonstrate mastery after we have retaught them. But the reteaching trumps the retesting. Got to do both though, but just remember that.
Bear in mind that last year in math, we did not explicitly teach whole units. We had modified curriculum where measurement, geometry, and probability and statistics was assigned but not taught. This year, we're back to truly teaching everything. That, plus a strong math workshop every day, should get us back on track.
School improvement plans also require an access and opportunity goal. At Coates, we will use the same goal we have had for the last few years, and that's intentional because it takes time to fairly build this up, and we're still on that path. We want to see more Black and Hispanic students found eligible for level 3 or 4 advanced academic programs. Bear in mind, at Coates, we have a local level 4 AAP classroom in grades 3, 4, 5, and 6, and typically all of our level 3 kids get invited to the level 4 classroom as a guest and receive the level 4 curriculum. So if you're level 3 at Coates, you're getting the level 4 curriculum for the most part. Take a look at what our numbers have been for the last 3 years as we have worked on this goal. And as you can see, we're making steady progress. Obviously, more work to do if you compare it to just our racial makeup as an entire school. Kind of compare those numbers on the right to the makeup of our AAP classrooms. And we're making good progress. We actually look better than most schools where AAP is overwhelmingly Asian and white. But obviously, we have more work to do. How do you get there? You use a plan a lot like we've been doing the last couple years. You expose all gen ed kids to AAP units, strategies, projects multiple times during the year. As an equity team member, that's all of us, by the way, we are constantly going through a process of checking ourselves to minimize bias, to look for strengths, not deficits in kids. And when we expose them to AAP style challenges, hopefully we can see their potential in a more fair way, and we can get good observations so that when we do go to a screening meeting at the end of the year to see who might be a good candidate for AAP, we can show receipts because we expose them to hard challenges, and we can find kids we might not otherwise have found, but we'll also select kids who really have this need and put them in the right place where they can thrive.
Notice the connection between our reading goal and our access to opportunity goal. Most of our Hispanic students are English learners. If we aim to boost Hispanic eligibility in AAP, we must get their language and reading levels up so that they can be successful in a rigorous academic program.
Finally, we will have a wellness goal. And the work plans are really a lot of the things we've always done well, but doing more of it. Class meetings baked into our daily schedule. Sometimes they're about building character through positivity projects. Sometimes it's team building and community building as a class, as all teachers work to make kids feel a sense of belonging in their classrooms. Another part of the plan is just the great stuff that Kathy and Carrie do as school counselors to deliver a good program for all kids and to pull specific kids who have a specific area of need. And we also are going to enhance our before-school program offerings as well as some after-school programs once again in the springtime. A lot of these programs will be interest-based and have less of a hardcore academic focus because we want kids to make friends, use social skills, develop a healthy self-concept. So we'll be working on all these things, and we will measure our progress towards these using the county's new social emotional learner screener tool and comparing our baseline results from how kids feel about themselves at the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
So that's the plan. It doesn't cover everything we do, but it does cover the main things. We'll end by revisiting the Coates mission. The school plan is a required document, so we must have one, but even if it wasn't required, we'd probably still have a plan like this. It's very consistent with our mission and goals for high academic achievement, grit, and risk-taking.